It is time for another Auburn basketball post-game reaction show. Your Tigers beat, dominate, however you want to describe it, the Missouri Tigers 89-56 on Valentine's Day. We're going to talk about all the stats, the reactions, the storylines from this game right here on this post-game reaction stream. War Eagle Auburn family, welcome back to another edition of E2C Network Live, where we sit down, we just get together, we talk about what's going on in the world of the Auburn's family spectrum. Our topic for this show, a post-game stream, Auburn versus Missouri. As I said, opening up the show, absolutely dominates the other Tigers from the most furthest reaches of the SEC. 89-56. And we want to hear from you all tonight as we get into this stream. To get started, how we always want to do so, make sure right now that you're posting where you're watching from, your city, your state, if you're international, use this as your check-in period. To do that, post War Eagle, however you'd like to start celebrating this big win at home, and also smash that like button. It is a huge help whether you're watching live, replay on Facebook, on Twitter, or any of the things out there. It is a humongous help to us and help people know they can be in part of our stream tonight, even if it's on the replay. So as you guys get to start doing that, let me go ahead and give you some opening thoughts tonight about this game. Probably, I know I've said this one time this season already, that there was a complete game by Auburn. And I know we've had that at least one time this season. Tonight was a complete game as well. Absolute, utter rising to the occasion, the challenge of the fans, the challenge of their head coach. They absolutely answered the call and do what I've been saying this team has done a lot this season. A lot of frustrations have been expressed about this team and the struggles they've been on, losing 5 of the last 6 before this game. And I've been telling you that a lot of the times when they face those challenges, when they've lost those games, they immediately responded. Well, that response didn't come as quick this last little stint of losses. However, I would say that the way we lost some of those games, we were in it and all that kind of stuff. But the response by this, with their backs to some degree against the wall, was absolutely outstanding. And there are obviously with any basketball game, and it's an Auburn basketball game, so there are some things to be maybe wish we'd done a little bit better, all that stuff. But I think tonight, given the nature of what we've been through, given the nature of what is on the table and what is facing this team, couldn't have asked for much more, especially at home. So my hat's off to Coach Pearl, his staff, this team for an absolutely great, an absolutely great game tonight. So we'll say hello to a bunch of you. As a reminder, if you are a Booster Club member, you can call in tonight if you'd like to. That's why I have the headphones on. So feel free to utilize that link in the Patreon app if you would like to do so. Otherwise, we're just going to move right along talking about this game and talking about things that you want to discuss. We got Drip Edits in the house. Neil, Ravin, Brian, Rise Life, Southeastern Kaiju. Who else is here? David on Facebook, Unbeaten Lake, a lot of familiar faces. Corey Benson, good to see you, sir. A lot of our familiar faces and some faces that we see from time to time on here. So thank you guys so much for joining in on the stream. Where has the Auburn team been? Same place they've always been. It just is the nature of the basketball game. Sometimes it just doesn't go your way. And for a little while there, it wasn't going Auburn's way. I'm noticing I'm a little dark. Do I look a little dark to you guys? If I do, let me know. Anytime you guys notice anything off with the stream, that you guys are like, will help me make things a little bit better for you. Checking in from Minnesota. Good to see you. Ravin says, ain't much to say when you do all the things right. Just a glimpse at what this team could be. I would actually even take it a step further, Ravin, what this team is. Now, when you say what this team is, that doesn't mean you're always that, right? And that's kind of, I know we're nitpicking words there, the potential of this team, all that kind of stuff. I've seen this in this team this entire year. We have been, as I've been saying for the last few streams, you can go back and look. This is what I've been doing the entire time. This small inch, right? That's not even an inch, just like a centimeters or two. That right there is what we have been missing for this basketball team. So close, so right there in terms of figuring this thing out, And tonight, it kind of all came together for a variety of reasons. It's not just one thing. This was a complete whole team win tonight. A nice slump buster, Kaiju says. I agree. It's a nice way to kind of get yourself out of the funk. I actually didn't watch this Rise Life, but I'm a fan of the free throws. So anytime someone has a funky free throw, I'm glad that you guys point that out. I need to go back and look at that because that probably will irk me. All right. So Drip Edits wants me to apparently bring up Chandler. I don't think Kyle will allow it, but can everyone chant Chandler? You can chant Chandler all you want. I mean, you can allow it. Now, I will tell you that if you post the same thing over and over and over again, it will mark you as spam. Like, I don't do that, but everybody else, that's what YouTube will do if you do that at repeated times. Let's see here. The halftime golf score was insane. Never spoke about it last game. The halftime golf score? What am I missing there? Are you talking about the putt that was made, all that kind of thing? I think they did talk about it. Can't take your foot off their necks for the rest of the season. Wow, that's certainly a one way to put it. Refs were horrible. Here we are again with this. Can we, Unbeaten Lake, let's just leave it there. Doesn't matter. We got the win tonight. We did exactly. This is what should have happened in the last few games, where you play this well that it doesn't matter how bad the SEC officiating is, because we know it's bad, because we know it's awful. We know that it's not going to get that much better the rest of the season. So just prepare for that. Do these things that you did tonight so that it's no longer a factor. Is Broom okay? Great question, Perry. So we saw Janai Broom play really well tonight, but twice, I think they were both on Ducks, come down and tweak something. So I think we tweeted out right after that second one, get him out of there. It was still like, was it 10 minutes left in the game? Rest him for the rest of the time. And thankfully they did that, right? That was a little bit scary to see that happen twice. Makes me a little nervous because he's an integral part of the success of this team's offense. However, if the other players in the offense that we don't speak of on a continual basis, so when I say that, I'm talking about Jalen Williams, I'm talking about Wendell Green, I'm talking about Janai. Those are the usual suspects. But when you get Lior Berman, when you get Alan Flanagan, when you get KD Johnson showing up the way they did tonight, it doesn't matter. That's what this team has been missing. Just these one or two other players to kind of do something just a little bit more significantly than they have. And you see what happens. The teams just can't keep up with them. This is a good basketball team, folks. I think some of you need to realize that. I would say some of you, I'm not even directing that at anybody particular here or anybody in general, but I've seen a lot of commentary out there, usually by people on social media, just wanting to get a like or something like that for having a hot take. But some of you need to wake up to the fact that this is a good basketball team. But good basketball teams also have slumps. Good basketball teams also make mistakes. Team has a lot of potential that I feel like is still only being just realized. Blake, good to see you on Facebook. Thanks for being here. Let's see. Can I do something about the poster posting this? No, I can't. I can, but I can't at the same time. It looks like it hit stop for now. But the main thing is anytime you post, I would just here's my biggest thing. If anybody in the chat annoys you, just ignore them. It'll take care of itself most of the time. Let's see here. It was a must-win game. Blake, I found this as an interesting, I want to say a conversation piece, because to me, I'm not questioning Coach Pearl's perspective on how he approached his preparation for his team for this game or anything like that. But to me, I don't feel that it was a must-win. But I understand why it was preached that way. It was spoken about that way to create this sense of urgency. And I don't think in any way you lose this game, you're out of anything like that. But in the same token, the importance of this game should not be negated anyway. But the must-win discussion point was a little bit much for me this week on all accounts. But again, that's not in reference to Coach Pearl or anything like that. Patrick, good to see you. Thanks for checking in. Devin has given us some updates on the meme count. I was just talking about that the other day with someone, Devin, and again, I think the meme culture has slowly died off here. Yeah, I know Bruce said it was a must win, and I'm not questioning him, but it is sometimes we say things to ignite a fire under someone. And I'm not saying that. So let's not get down to the nitty gritty of that. That is just my opinion, that I thought that the must win scenario, not directing that at Coach Pearl or anything, discussion by us as fans, acting like this was the end all be all, this was it. That was a little bit much for me, but that doesn't really matter at this point. Let's see. Good to see you, WT. Thanks for hanging here. Trey got up. Yeah, Trey really got up on that dunk. There were a lot of great dunks tonight. Alan Flanagan, Janai Broom. Who else? Did Katie have one tonight? No, I don't think Katie had one tonight. But everybody had an absolutely great night tonight. So for those of you who haven't been here, Rob claims everybody with the last name Donaldson as his own. Including Josh Donaldson of baseball and all that. So his cousin, as he said, had a great slam tonight. Let's see. The first time Broom fell awkwardly, I wanted him out on the bench. Cardwell is a good player. Wasn't it nice to really see how they complemented each other, even when they're not on the same floor together, particularly? How there wasn't much of a drop-off. Dylan Cardwell tonight, everybody, I think, we'll look at the stats here in just a second, really looked at this as an opportunity to assert himself and show that leadership that maybe we wanted to see a little bit more outside of the emotional side of those things. Really good thing for him tonight. It was a most win for the team for the schedule, a must win for the team for the schedule. I'm not going to argue that point anymore. Good to see you, Thomas. Thanks for being here. Yes, love all the great storylines and people we can talk about tonight. All right, let me look at some of the things that I jotted down. Can we just mention this to start off tonight? We know the defense is good, but we need to continue to value and appreciate that. The fewest points this Missouri team has scored in the first half all season. Ridiculous defense. You saw them do this with Alabama last game. You saw them really take away the three-point shot, because you could see later on in the game when we laxed a little bit that they can knock down their three-point shots when they're open. I believe it was Missouri that only had 2 points like 5 minutes into the game. We had, was it a 2 to 19 point lead? It's incredible. Just really impressed with the way the guys came ready to play tonight, especially in the first half, but just throughout the game. Katie Johnson, we're going to talk about his stats in just a little bit, but he's obviously just had the game we've all been wanting for him to have tonight. You forgot to yell Lior out loud and Williams. Oh, we're not done yet. We haven't even made it through everybody yet. So just hold your horses if you're wanting us to talk about someone. We're going to get through there in just a second. Let's see. Free throws tonight, 80% again. Haven't even looked at it, but you know I love that. That's amazing. I love that so much. Let's see here. Okay, I think I'm caught up on most of the commentary there. Ball movement tonight, really great. If I can call your attention to that one play, and I know there were a lot of that tonight, so maybe I can bring you back to that moment where we really just threw the ball entirely around the horn very fast, and it ended up with a KD Johnson 3 in the corner. That's just one example of it tonight, but those are the little things that happen for really good teams. Unselfishness, but unselfishness in a smart way. Giving yourself an opportunity to find the best possible shot in a sequence for you, and never giving the defense a chance to set themselves on defense or really catch their breath if you're coming off on a fast break, which we did on that point. That was really good ball movement, and I got up and applauded out of my seat when that happened. If I do pick up on one thing tonight that I wish we had done a little bit better, and I think maybe some of you noticed it. Did you notice that a lot of our guards, specifically Wendell, and I think Katie had it happen to him once, got stuck in some traps on the sideline. Our bigger guys kind of handed the ball off to him and kind of set them up to get trapped a little bit too often. So if we're going to find one thing tonight to complain about or to say this could have been better, that is it tonight. Because this was one of the best games we played this season, but that doesn't mean it was it without a flaw. Nice to carry the win into Bama and Tennessee. Well, and Kentucky. I know Kentucky's down, but still going to need any momentum you can get for that back. Was it 8th or back couple of games there, a few games? Was he really 4 for 4? Wow, that's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Okay, so let's walk through this a little bit and talk about some stats tonight. We're going to start with KD Johnson. He's not the highest scorer tonight, but he is probably the piece that is, in my opinion, most important to tonight. Because what you've had happen this entire season is usually Janai and Wendell. Sometimes it's been, I'll say Jalen Williams a lot of the time, rising up and helping the guys offensively in statistical categories. We really need that fourth guy to show it, more than the fourth guy, but at least a fourth guy. So when one of those guys is having a bad night, it's not such a big thing. KD Johnson has been that guy, I think, for a long time. A lot of us have thought of that. And tonight you really saw that. And he had a pretty decent game last game too. So KD Johnson today, 15 points, 5 for 9 from the field, 4 for 6 from the 3-point arc. So it wasn't 4 for 4, but maybe it was 4 in a row. 1 for 4 from the free throw line, 4 rebounds for him. Just an absolutely great game in only 20 minutes of play for him tonight. Well, I say only, like that's a small amount. The highest amount tonight was 25 minutes, Jalen Williams and Alan Flanagan. Is that really true? Wow, that is true. And that's what happens when you can get your bench in and have them play a little bit more. Janai Broome, 20 points tonight, 8 for 13, even getting injured, 4 for 5 from the free throw line, 10 rebounds. Was it his 9th double-double on the season? Those are two right there. You're probably your players of the game. I'll go ahead and throw out for consideration to Alan Flanagan. But who is your player of the game tonight? Who do you got? Who is your player of the game and why? I ask you guys who a lot, but why is it your player of the game? Post that right now in the chat. I would love to hear your opinions on that. The putbacks today and causing loose balls was huge. Absolutely. It was great. Just stifling defense at times. So and obviously the conversation is still centering around that halftime, which I got to see in person, which was super cool. I think we're going to release a clip from the podcast tomorrow for you guys to hear Austin and I talking about. I know some of you have seen it, watched it live, heard it on the podcast, but it bears repeating. So that'll probably be available for you guys tomorrow morning, I believe, to hear us talk about that again. But Marty McGee tried the putt, and he went for the whole kind of just go up there and give it your all approach that the student did with the putt and win a car contest, but just a little bit too much English on it, a little bit too much oomph on it. You knew they were going to try to do that again after hype and the conversation and the interest it generated for them last time. Leading scorer, I think I answered that one, 20 points, Janai Broome tonight. Broome was out there posterizing. A lot of people were out there posterizing tonight. Player of the game for me is Icy Ween. Good distribution and leadership tonight. I think I'm going to credit this correctly. I'm sorry if I'm not that they'll ever see this, but I think Justin Hokanson tweeted out that in one point tonight, Wendell had only shot 3 3-pointers. So let's look and see if that matches up with what he was saying. Wendell Green tonight. Okay. So I only see 1 3-point attempt on his time. Maybe it was either way. His point is that Wendell Green had shot the ball less and everybody else had stepped up in his stead. Wendell Green tonight only gets 5 points. If you had told me we're going to win the game and Wendell Green scores 5 points tonight, I would have laughed at you. I seriously would have, because he's been that big of a contributing factor in offensive statistics all season. This, though, is a testament to what happened with this team tonight. not just with the usual suspects, Janai Broom, Jalen Williams, getting very close to a double-double himself with 9 points and 7 rebounds. He had 3 assists as well. I really think that this is something that should excite you, that Wendell Green, one of the usual suspects, can have an off night and us still have the type of success that we did have tonight, which I'm really excited about. Yeah, we mentioned that a little bit earlier. Always good to see the guys you don't get to talk about a lot. Now, Trey plays a lot, and rightfully so. I'm very happy. I'm a big Trey Donaldson fan. Trey plays a lot, but you don't get to talk about these moments for him a whole lot. So when you get the game like this, where you get them to have a little bit more freedom, openness to try and be more assertive themselves, you get moments like that, and you get your walk-ons in, people that don't play a lot into the game. Broom is the player of the game for me. I think that's you can obviously make that case as well. For me, the player of the game is everyone. Coaches, players for regrouping, refocusing. Well said. Playing their most complete game of the season, total team effort. It's the cop-out answer, but it's the right answer. So I won't fault you for that, Brian. Let's see here. Who's the leading scorer for the season? Ooh, I don't know that. I'd have to go look that up on the Auburn website, and y'all don't want me to awkwardly sit here and do that while we do. So if somebody else would like to look that up while we're doing that, we can certainly have you post that in there, and we'll talk about it. But I would bet it's probably Janai Broom, most likely. Devin says KD had an amazing night, played 20 minutes, scored 15 points. We need him regularly. And this 2 games in a row where you've seen him regularly and see how he's contributed. One thing I know is that our guards absolutely excel is the sidestep 3-point shots, and it worked tonight for Katie. And I would say fading 3-point shots. Also tonight, Alan Flanagan seemed to find a really good touch with his shots inside the paint. Now, he had a 3-pointer or 2, his dunks, obviously, but, he had that turnaround mid-range jumper, a floater that he went off the bank with, just a level of comfort and confidence that we've seen this season from him at times, that he's returning to that old Alan Green self. But Alan Flanagan. Wow. That is something that's a really, really good sight to see there. Wendell is our leading scorer, according to Devin. Did you look that on the website? Not surprised at that either, but I thought it would be Janai. He did have a little short stint there where he was either missed some games, but also maybe didn't have some high-scoring games. All right, so a couple other individual stats. Zep tonight with 6 points, 2 3-pointers. Zep Jasper was knocking them down too tonight. Alan Flanagan with 16, 6 for 7 from the field, 3 for 3 from the free throw line. What more can you ask for from Alan Flanagan? Just an outstanding night for him. Chris Moore, Yawan Traore, Chandler Leopard got into the game, but they did not score. Chris Moore obviously saw some significant minutes, but obviously he's still working his way back. And we mentioned Trey Donaldson with his monster dunk in the 2 points tonight. Leo Berman, 8 points, 3 for 4 from the field, 2 for 2 from the 3-point line, 1 rebound. The Berminator. Absolutely outstanding. Dylan Cardwell, 8 points. And I think tonight, if you want to talk about an unsung hero, that's Dylan Cardwell. Janai has a great game. And I think that kind of overshadows Cardwell. But let's see. He had 10 rebounds. Oh, just 2 points away from a double-double himself. Almost. We honestly were in an opportunity to have 3 double-double players tonight. Close. Jalen was a little bit further away, but close enough that it could have happened. That would have been a pretty sight. Cardwell had 3 blocks tonight. So those are your individual stats. No. Now, I say that, and I think one year they did do a 3-point, similar to some of the skill challenges for NBA. They may have done something like that at one point. I'm not sure that they may have been killed by the COVID shutdown. If this team plays like this in the road, especially 50% from 3, we win out. Thoughts? Yeah, no. If the team shoots 75% as good as we did tonight, yeah, we have a legitimate shot to win every single game left on the schedule. Rise Life has given us a few more stats, points per game. Oh, this is what Devin was talking about. There you go. You can see right there everybody's stat line. All I want at this point is to do well in conference tournament and the national tournament. The big picture is my focus, not to take anything away from tonight. No, and I agree, and that's what this team is focusing on too. But I think, for them, the focus has to stay here with what's happening right now, because to have a good tournament, to have a good national tournament, you have to set yourself up in a good way in those scenarios, or risk having the hardest road possible. So we can focus on that big picture. I think that's what we should do as fans, and not panic like we were about a slump, and wait and see what happens with this team. And I still believe this team has not reached its full potential. Okay. So we talked about individual stats. Let's look at the team stats tonight. 48% from the field, 50% from three-point land. If you do, like you said, if you do that, 9 of 18, just awesome. 80% exactly for Auburn on free throws. Love it. Happy. No complaints from me. 16 of 20 from the free throw line. Now, very sloppy game at times for both teams. 16 turnovers for Missouri, 15 for Auburn. So that really is a push scenario. So when we're looking at those big three categories, I always look at for who wins the game: free throws, turnovers, rebounds. Free throws tonight, obviously, is still in favor of Missouri with 83%. Turnovers was in Auburn's favor. You look at rebounds tonight, though, 26 rebounds for Missouri, 48 for Auburn. Absolutely dominant performance. Couple that with points in the paint. 24 points in the paint for Missouri, 42 for Auburn. That's the difference in the game right there. Taking advantage of your home court advantage, using that energy, that drive, that passion, that motivation that was inserted by probably some of the doubts of fans, the doubts within themselves, the challenge that the head coach and their coaching staff put to them to say, this is crunch time, boys. And boy, did they respond. It's great. Absolutely great. Let's see. By the way, one thing that still hits me hard is Devin Cambridge, that he's not here. He's having a good season from what I understand over there. So happy for him, but I don't know where he would play on this team, to be honest with you. Flanagan gave me flashbacks tonight. Absolutely. Free throws win games. Now, this is an example of a game, Thomas, where my quote there, I think my actual quote is free throws win championships. Tonight, when you do what you did in some other areas, free throws are just kind of negated because you see how well they shot from free throw line too tonight. All right, finishing up on the full game stats here. Points off of turnovers, pretty even there, 21-23 in favor of Auburn. Second chance points tonight, kind of reflecting some of those points in the paint that we got on offensive rebounds close to the basket. 17 for Auburn, 8 for Missouri. Bench points tonight, both teams pretty solid. 21 points from Missouri, but 33 from Auburn, kind of like we talked about. And that's Alan Flanagan, that's Leor Berman, that's Katie Johnson. And Alan Flanagan actually starts tonight. So I forget because of Chris Moore's situation. He's starting right now. But to me, he's still kind of that sixth man. So that's why I kind of hit him in that conversation. Cardwell's part of that equation tonight for the bench points too. Obviously, everybody who scored is part of that equation, but the big contributors that we talk about tonight. Blocks, 5 for Auburn, 9 steals for Auburn, 21 assists. This goes back to what I talked about at the beginning of the show. The ball movement, the ball sharing, finding the open player, really keeping the Missouri Tigers on their heels defensively, utilizing what you have at your disposal, your home court advantage. Kept them uncomfortable all night to the point where they found themselves in a situation that Auburn has found them at times this season, in a lead that's big enough that you really can't have any more mistakes the rest of the game. Missouri just couldn't get out of that mistakes, all that problems that they created themselves for the rest of the game. So that is your stats. and team, individual, otherwise. What else stuck out to you from this game? Post that right now in the comment section, anything related that you'd like to. Let me give you a reminder what's coming up. As a reminder, we are not at this time doing every morning, Monday through Friday, Good Morning Auburn segments. We did one this morning, just kind of because I had something I wanted to talk about. And that's kind of what's going to happen on the weekdays. If there's something I want to talk about, I'll be live. But I am trying, when I have something available, to have something at 8:30, kind of like a Good Morning Auburn, but it won't be a live stream. So pay attention to that. Like I said, I probably have something for you guys tomorrow going live at 8:30. Watch it throughout the day if you can. But obviously, the sooner you can watch that, drop a comment, like, the better. Upcoming schedule. Don't miss tomorrow night, Auburn Family Night. It is going to be a fun live stream where you can call in. Anybody can. So don't miss that. I would love to see you there. Check out the links in the description. You can be a subscriber to be part of that giveaway. As I told you guys, our goal was to reach 5,000 subscribers before we do this giveaway. I am considering doing that a little bit earlier because it is taking us a little bit longer to get there. Depends on how quickly we get to a certain other number. So tell a friend, invite them to be part of our little family over here on YouTube. If you're on Facebook and Twitter watching, come on over. You can be a channel member. You can be a Booster Club member. Both those start at $1 a month, and they do help keep the lights on here, help us continue to grow and do bigger and better things here at E2C Network. But you don't have to do any of that. You can just be here, hang out with us, be part of our little family within the Auburn family, and that is much appreciated. All right, any final commentary here? What does it say about us as a group that we spent our Valentine's Day watching college basketball and discussing on YouTube? It says that we have a lot of problems. No, see, I, as someone who does this for their job, I had to make conscious efforts to take care of my Valentine's Day privileges and obligations to my wife and making sure she felt loved today. We went out to eat this weekend and obviously exchanged small gifts today, but I knew that I was going to be jam-packed tonight. And what better way and reason to be jam-packed for a game like this? So yes, we have problems, but these are problems that I like to have doing this tonight. Would it be in bad taste? Good Lord. Prediction, Vandy score, Auburn by 6 at Vandy if we can keep it close in the second half. Now, I would argue your point here, Rob, that if Auburn does what it has done a lot on the road and give up a big lead, you're going to find them in a similar, probably not as bad as Missouri had it tonight, scenario where they're having to fight an uphill battle and it may just be too much of an insurmountable lead. If they can get off to a hot start on the road and create themselves some momentum at the most awful basketball stadium, not just in the SEC, not just in the eastern side of the United States, in all of the world, awful basketball arena. It gives me a headache just looking at it. Then we'll have a good game. Do not like it. What are Vandy's strong points? They have a great coach in Jerry Stackhouse. I'm blanking on the guy's name that torched us last year there. I think he's still there. You know, Vandy is really a good traditional basketball program. Before Stackhouse got there, they kind of had to revamp. So they're not as good as they normally are, but don't sleep on them. Don't walk in there just because they got some weird voodoo on that weird court that'll really mess you up. And I see a lot of you talking about football practice getting started and baseball about to be here. Obviously, we'll be talking about those on some other things. Glad you're all excited about that. Thank you all so much for being here tonight, being part of the stream, hanging out with us. A lot of options for you to choose for post-game reaction streams these days, and we appreciate you choosing us to be here live, especially, and for those of you that watch on the replay. Your score, 89-56. Auburn dominates Missouri on Valentine's Day. What a game it was. Very happy. One of the most complete games of the season, and we'll enjoy it moving on into Vanderbilt. Till we talk to you guys again, smash that like button on the way out, and War Eagle.